Hello dear students, welcome to another exciting lecture for CA Inter Law. Up till now we have discussed the Introduction of Companies Act section 1 and we also discussed few definitional clauses from section 2. So we covered up to clause 36. Now let us continue with clause 37. Clause 37 defines employee stock option. The provisions are actually contained under section 62 subsection 1 clause B. So this we will be discussing later in the chapter share and share capital. Now what is an employee stock option scheme? This is basically an option. It's not a compulsion. Okay, it's just an option given to. Okay, let's highlight the few words. Firstly, it is an option. It's not a compulsion. You don't have to buy it. To whom is it given? To directors, officers or employees of company, holding or subsidiary company or companies. So my second keyword is to whom is this option given? Third is it may be either of the company or the holding company or subsidiary company. What is this option actually? What is this all about? It is to subscribe or to purchase. Okay, it's a right to purchase or subscribe for shares of the company at a future date at predetermined price. So there's no connection with the coding, but I'm just highlighting the few keywords for you. So it is an option given to whom? Director, officer, employee of company, holding or subsidiary. What is this option? To purchase or to subscribe for the shares of the company at a future date at a predetermined price. So let's say for example that the price at which they can buy, okay, it's an option, it's not a compulsion. The employee may choose to buy the shares at 100 rupees. We are giving them the option to buy at 100 rupees. If the price in the market is 150 rupees, then this is in the money. In the money means it makes sense to buy it from the, to exercise this option. You will buy at 100 rupees. You will sell at 150 rupees in the market. You will make a profit of 50 rupees. It is in the money. It makes sense to exercise this option. But what if the market price reduces to 50 rupees per share? Okay, it reduces to 50 rupees per share. Then will you exercise this option? No. In that case, it makes sense to buy it from the market itself. You're getting it at 50, whereas in the option, you will have to pay 100 rupees. It is out of money. Okay, since it is out of money, you will not exercise this option. So it is not compulsory. It's just an option given to these employees, officers, directors to purchase shares or to subscribe to the shares of the company at a predetermined price. Why is it given? Why are we so considerate towards the employees, directors, etc.? This is an employee retention tactic. I want to retain the employees in the business. So what I'm doing, I'm giving them a carrot. Stay for 3 years. We'll give you ESOP at the end of 3 years. So we'll give you 100 shares. Then you can buy 100 shares after you complete 4 years, 200 shares after you complete 5 years. So what will happen? For 3 years, I will stay in the organization because I want these ESOPs. It is giving me an option to buy the shares at a predetermined price, whatever be the price in the market. So this is just like a carrot given to the employee. So they will be encouraged, to stay in the organization. Okay, let me wait for another year, take another stock option and then go. So basically employee stock option scheme, even sweat equity, these are all employee retention tactics used by the company. And it is very good. It is for the benefit of employees also, no? They are getting the shares at a predetermined price. They can sell it in the market at a higher price. It is not very quick. It is not immediate. Like today I exercise the option, I get the shares, tomorrow I sell. No. There is a gap between vesting and exercising of option. We are going to discuss that in section 62 later. But as of now, just remember that employee stock option is just an option given to the directors, officers, employees of company, holding, subsidiary to purchase or to subscribe for the shares of the company in the future at a predetermined price. It's so easy to remember when you break the definition into small parts. Yes? Okay. Next, let us discuss the definition of an expert. Now, you will use this definition when you study the chapter prospectus. In prospectus, opinion of an expert is included. So we need to know who is an expert. Before the 2013 Act, expert was not defined. But in the 2013 Act, they have taken the effort to define an expert. There is an easy way to remember who is included in the definition of expert. E, V, CA, CS, CMA. E is for engineer, V is for valuer, CA, CS, CMA. Okay, easy to remember. So it includes an engineer. It's an inclusive definition. It includes engineer, valuer, chartered accountant, company secretary, cost accountant, cost and management accountant, CMA. But it also includes any other person who has the power or authority to issue a certificate in pursuance of any law for the time being in force. Let's say I'm an architect and my law has given me the authority to issue a certificate. I'm an expert. Doctor, yes, you must have obtained a doctor's certificate at some or the other point in your life. So doctor's certificate. So if my law allows me the authority to issue a certificate, I'm an expert. So who is an expert? E, V, CA, CS, CMA. E is for expert, E is for engineer, V is for valuer, CA, CS, CMA. Any person who has the authority or the right to issue a certificate in pursuance of any law for the time being in force. Okay. Next, financial institution is not even given in your module. That is why I have written NA. Financial statement. Yes, financial statement. In relation to a company, I think now we are very comfortable reading the language of law. In relation to a company, it means the term financial statement is described in relation to a company. It includes, okay, it is an inclusive definition. It includes balance sheet. It includes profit and loss account. And if your company is a non-profit organization, then it includes income and expenditure account. Okay, so income and expenditure account in case of non-profit organization. It includes cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, and explanatory note. Now, how I'll just discuss with you how I would make notes when I was studying for CA. I used to use the left margin a lot. Like, if I'm reading the definition of financial statement, I would write balance sheet, profit and loss account or income and expenditure account, cash flow statement, statement of changes in equity, and notes. So this way, it would become very easy for me to revise any concept quickly because all the keywords were written on the left margin. You can try that. I think it will be helpful to you. Okay. But there is a proviso. Provided that the financial statements with respect to one-person company, small company, dormant company, it may not include the cash flow statement because it is very tedious to prepare. This is one of the privilege given to OPC, small company or dormant company, that you need not prepare your cash flow statement. They may not include. So if you want, you can include. But if you don't include it, we won't take any action against you. Clause 40 and the definition, both are important for exam. Okay. Now, let us discuss one very interesting definition. Clause 41 defines financial year. Whenever I use the word year, it generally means calendar year. Okay, you're not specifying whether it is financial year or calendar, but the word year means calendar year. And what is the calendar year that we follow? We follow the British calendar year, which begins from 1st of January to 31st of December. Okay. Now, whenever you wish your friend New Year, what do you say? Happy New Year. This you will do on 1st of January. Will you wish your friend on some other date? No. So when you say Happy New Year, year means calendar year, beginning from 1st of January, ending on 31st of December. So whenever I use the word year, it is a calendar year and we follow the British calendar year. But when I use the word financial year, it begins on 1st April and it ends on 31st of March. So year is the calendar year, financial year begins from 1st of April to 31st of March. Every chartered accountant is aware of the term financial year. Yes? Now, in relation to a company or a body corporate, see, the term financial year is defined with respect to company or body corporate. So, if a company or a body corporate is defining financial year, so what does it mean for them? It means the period ending on 31st March every year. All right. So what is happening? It means period ending on 31st March. We are aware of this. And where the company is incorporated either on or after 1st of January of a year, okay, of a calendar year they are talking about. The period ending on 31st March of the following year, in respect whereof financial statements or body corporate is made, shall be considered to be the financial year. Ma'am, we are very confused. Don't be. I'm giving you notes for it which will help you to understand. So in your notebook, you will give the heading as financial year, because we are discussing the definition of financial year. So let's draw a small table. So let's say, for example, that if a company is incorporated on, I'm taking different dates for discussion, okay? 2nd May 2022. So when will the financial year end? 31st March 2023. Yes? So the financial year will end on 31st March 2023. But what if the company is incorporated on 31st December 2022? The year will again end on 31st March 2023. However, if the company is incorporated either on or after, okay, on or after 1st Jan 2023, then the financial year will end on 31st March of the following year 2024. What if my company is incorporated, let's say, on 20th Feb 2023? So on or after the 1st January of a year, then the year will end, financial year will end on 31st March of the following year. Why? We will discuss. First, draw the table. Okay, so if the company is incorporated on, I have mentioned 3 examples. Okay. So this is my table for discussion. Okay. So these are different scenarios. I'm drawing it properly so that you can use it for last minute revision. This is the year on which this is the date on which my financial year ends. Now, in case your company is incorporated either on or after 1st of January, let's say it is incorporated on 20th of January, 20th of February 23. How will you prepare financial statements for just 1.5 to 2 months? It is not fair, no? You won't be able to prepare any books of accounts properly. You've just started the business. How will you prepare the financial statements? So we cannot end your year on 31st March 23. It will be too soon. Therefore, the year ends on 31st March 2024. Now, you may ask me a question, ma'am, what difference does it make if the company is incorporated on 31st December or it is incorporated on 1st of Jan? There's hardly a day of difference. What difference does it make if it is, incorporated on 31st March or 1st Jan? Now, law says that if the company is incorporated on 1st of January or any day thereafter, we cannot force the company to end the financial year on 31st March 2023 because it will be too less a period. But we can't do that on case-to-case basis, no? We can't go, oh, you're incorporated on 31st March. All right, for you also, we'll keep some other day. Then somebody will say, I was incorporated on 28th December, just 2 days prior to your deadline. So please help me. Okay, all right, for you also we'll give. So we can't work on case-to-case basis. We need to have some benchmarking. We need to have some law, and that has to be final. So we say that if you are incorporated on any day before 1st of January of that year, any day, I have taken 31st December. But it is not necessary that many companies will be incorporated on 31st December. Many may be enjoying their new year. Yes. So it is unlikely that there are numerous companies incorporated on 31st December. Okay. So any company incorporated before 1st of Jan, for them the year will end on 31st March 2023. But if you are a company incorporated on either 1st of Jan or any day thereafter, then your financial year will end. That is the first financial year. It will end on 31st March 2024. So can I say in this case, for the first financial year, okay, for this, their first financial year will have approximately 15 months. See, I am assuming that you are incorporated on 1st January itself. So your financial year, the first financial year will be of 15 months. Whereas in the other cases, it will be like from the date of incorporation till the year end. That will be the duration of their first financial year, which won't exceed 12 months. Yes. Okay. As far as this situation is concerned, your first financial year is of 15 months. Does it mean that your subsequent financial year will also be for 15 months? No. In that case, your subsequent financial years will be of 12 months only. So let's say, for example, that the company was incorporated on 1st of January 2023. So the first financial year will end on 31st March. Let me write it here for you. So the first financial year will end on 31st March 2024. But your subsequent or second financial year, that will begin from 1st April 24 and it will end on 31st March 25. So that will form a normal cycle. Okay, so this will again fall in a normal cycle of 12 months. So just because your first financial year was of 15 months, don't be under the impression that your subsequent financial years will also be for 12 months, for 15 months. Only the first financial year is of 15 months, the subsequent will be for 12 months only. Okay. And it will be so on. Now, let's read the this part from the definition. I'll give you some time to copy in case you need to write all this in your notebook. Done? Alright, you can pause the video and write it. In relation to any company or a body corporate, financial year means the period ending on 31st March of every year and where the company is incorporated either on or after 1st of January of the year, the period ending on 31st March of the following year, in respect of which the financial statements of the company or body corporate is made up. So it depends on the period for which the financial statement is made. That will be your financial year. Provided that there is a proviso, a company or a body corporate which is a holding company or a subsidiary or an associate of a company incorporated outside India. Wait, you won't understand this without an example. So let's understand this with the help of example first. Okay, so have you heard of PepsiCo? Yes, it is a company incorporated outside India. But ma'am, they do have operations in India. Yes, but it is through a subsidiary. So their subsidiary is named PepsiCo India Holdings Private Limited. Okay. So they are present in India through a subsidiary which is named PepsiCo India Holdings Private Limited. Now this subsidiary is a company registered in India. It is having registered office in India. Do you remember we had discussed all this while we were studying body corporate, that PepsiCo Inc. will be a body corporate. Why? Because it is incorporated outside India. It is not a company because it doesn't have a registered office in India. Yeah, but its subsidiary, that is PepsiCo India Holding Private Limited, this is incorporated in India, having a registered office in India. So this will be considered as a company under section 2 clause 20 of the Companies Act. So it means the Companies Act will apply to this subsidiary, and if the Companies Act is applying to this subsidiary, it means that the financial year of PepsiCo India Holdings Private Limited will be from 1st of April to 31st of March. Agreed or not? Because the Companies Act is applicable to you, your financial year will be from 1st April to 31st of March. However, your parent company is following calendar year. I'll just erase this. Your parent company is following the calendar year. Why? Because that is how the accounts are made in that particular country where it is incorporated. So they are following the calendar year. That is from 1st of Jan to 31st of December. Now, why is India word mentioned in the name? Because PepsiCo has subsidiaries in many countries. How will I know which subsidiary I'm referring to? They have a presence in many countries. So in order to identify, we have used the word India. Now, every person would want to know, all right, I want to know what kind of business we are doing as a group. See, we have many subsidiaries. So if I add the accounts of all these subsidiaries, I will get a consolidated position of the entire group as a whole. So we went to consolidate the books, and we realized that PepsiCo, the parent company, is preparing the books of accounts for the calendar year, whereas the subsidiary in India is following the financial year, because that is the requirement of that country in which it is incorporated. Is it possible for us to merge the books? Is it possible for me to consolidate the book? That's not possible. I will not be able to consolidate and find the position of the group as a whole. Why? Because they both are preparing accounts for a different period of time. So what should we do? What is the solution? So for the purpose of consolidation, we have permitted PepsiCo India Holdings Private Limited to make an application to the central government, and the central government will permit PepsiCo India Holding Private Limited to follow any year for preparing the books of accounts for consolidation purpose. They are permitted to follow any year. Any means now it is not necessary that you follow calendar year, you follow financial year, you can follow any year. You can say that my year begins from 1st of February to 31st of January. So since we are allowing you to make changes, you might as well follow any year of your choice. We can't be specific in this manner. So PepsiCo India Holdings will make an application to the central government, and the central government will permit them to use or to follow any year as the financial year, and basically this is done for consolidation purpose. Okay, so if you want to make notes for consolidation, that is to know the position of the group as a whole, to know the position of group as a whole, I may permit. Now, I was just talking to someone from PepsiCo India Holdings, and they informed me that they are following some different year as the financial year. It suddenly clicked me that yeah, that it will be better for my business also. I am a company incorporated in India. I don't have such holding or subsidiary. I don't have any company incorporated outside India with whom I have to consolidate the accounts. Can I also gain the benefit of following any period for my financial year? Sorry. This is available only and only if you are a holding or a subsidiary or an associate of any company incorporated outside India. So not everyone can claim this privilege. Let us read all this from the notes now. Provided that where a body corporate or a company which is a holding or subsidiary. Now in my example, I chose subsidiary company and the name was PepsiCo India Holdings Private Limited. I chose this. So body corporate, which is a holding or a subsidiary or an associate of a company incorporated outside India. So in my example, it was PepsiCo Inc. Yes. And it is required to follow a different financial year for consolidation because I want to know the position of the group as a whole. So I will have to follow a different financial year. Then the central government may on an application made by that company. Which company? The one in India. That means that company. That means PepsiCo India Holdings Private Limited. This company will make an application. So I will write over here PepsiCo India will make an application to the central government, and as may be prescribed, you can ignore that. In such form as may be prescribed, ignore that. Okay. So then the central government will allow or they will permit any period. Highlight the word any. Now we are in allowing you, so you may in fact follow any period as its financial year, whether or not that period is a year. It may not be a year, it may not be a calendar year, you can have any period of your choice. So that is the liberty which we have given now, but only to such companies. Okay, is it clear? Is it clear, students? Yes? Now, you can pause the video anytime and take notes. Let us continue with the next definition. Clause 42 defines a foreign company. This anyways we are going to study next, and there are other points also which I want to introduce you when we study foreign company. So foreign company is a company, we just highlight the keywords now. It is a company or a body corporate, alright. It is incorporated outside India. Now company, whether it is domestic or foreign, depends on the place of incorporation. So if it is incorporated in India, it's an Indian company, domestic company, and if it is incorporated outside India, it is a foreign company. So foreign company means a company or a body corporate incorporated outside India, but it has a place of business in India, either by itself or through agent. It may be present physically or it may be present electronically. You must have studied this in foundation. It also conducts business activity in India in any other manner. So because you are doing business in India, Indian laws will apply. You can't say, no. The place where I was incorporated had some different rules. You have been incorporated outside India, but you are doing business in India. So for that business which you are doing in India, the Indian laws will apply. Then we have free reserves, which I will discuss when I discuss the chapter share and share capital with you. I'm not doing it now. But just remember that free reserves are those reserves which are available for distribution in the form of dividend. I don't have any specific use or purpose for that reserve. It is free. You can use it for anything that you want. Okay, it is not a capital reserve. Capital reserve is for a fixed purpose. This is a free reserve. Use it for any purpose that you want. Okay. It is generally earned from regular business activities. Global depository receipt is not covered. Government company, important for exam, along with a clause number. So clause 45, it defines a government company. What is a government company? You know the definition. I am aware of that. It means any company in which not less than, it means at least 51% of the paid up share capital is held either by the central government or state government or one or more, or partly by central, partly by one or more state governments. All right. So a government company is a company in which at least 51% of the capital is held either by the central government on its own or state government and or governments, or partly by central, partly by state government. There is also one more part to this definition. It includes a company which is a subsidiary of such government company. So it means that if you are a subsidiary of a government company, all the provisions of a government company shall apply. Ma'am, why are we even studying what is a government company? See, because the provisions are different. They may be, they may be different for a company and for a government company. For a company other than government company and government company, like in audit, you must have studied, and we are also going to study in audit and auditors, that in case of a company, auditors are appointed by the members in the general meeting, annual general meeting. That is one of the ordinary businesses. So in case of a company other than government company, auditors are appointed by the members. But in case of a government company, auditor is appointed by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So provisions, sections may be different for a government company and for a company other than a government company. That is why we need to first know when will we classify a company as a government company. So at least 51%, not 50, but 51% of the capital is held either by the central government, one or more state governments, or partly by central, partly by one or more state governments. I have an example for you over here. Oh, see, look here. So in this case, Coal India Limited, it is a government company. It has two subsidiaries. Actually, it has many subsidiaries. I have selected two for discussion. It has subsidiaries like Bharat Coking Coal Limited and Central Coalfields Limited. These subsidiary companies are also considered as government company. It simply means that the provisions applicable to government company shall apply to these subsidiaries also. So they are also deemed to be government company. The provisions of government company shall apply. We have Power Finance Corporation Limited. It has many subsidiaries, but I have chosen two: PFC Green Energy Limited and PFC Consulting Limited. See over here, it is mentioned it is a wholly owned subsidiary of Power Finance Corporation. For the purpose of this act, this is also considered as a government company. All right. Going back to that page, we discussed what is a government company and we also made notes. Let us continue. Next, we have the definition of holding company. Yes, I am a holding if you are my subsidiary. Read the definition given under clause 46. In relation to one or more companies, it means a company of which such companies are subsidiary. So I am holding if you are my subsidiary. Okay. Independent director, all this is not important. Issued capital means the capital which we issue from time to time, not important for exam. KMP, yes, important for exam, along with a clause number. So who is a KMP? Clause 51. Now, KMP, there's nothing to explain as such. You just need to understand and remember. Key managerial person. They are important people in the organization. In relation to a company, all right, we are defining who is a KMP. Chief Executive Officer, Managing Director, Manager, Company Secretary, whole time, I'll write it properly. I'll just reduce the font size. CEO, Managing Director, Manager, Company Secretary, whole time director, someone who is in whole time employment of the company. He's a director, but he's in whole time employment. Chief Financial Officer, someone who is appointed. Any other officer, but not more than one level below the director. So let's say that I have a director. One level below him is an associate director. Okay, this person is also KMP. We won't go below this. We won't go below this. Someone who is in whole time employment and designated as KMP. Alright, he is in whole time employment. whole-time employment. He is also KMP. We won't go one level below this. Any such officer as may be prescribed. As of now, no other officer has been prescribed. It is always advisable to have a KMP policy of your own company. So who is included? Let us memorize. CEO, MD, manager. Company secretary, whole-time director, sorry, I forgot. Whole-time director, CFO, any officer not one level below the director, and any other person as may be specified or prescribed. So easy. CEO, MD, manager, CS, whole-time director, CFO, any person not below one level to the director, and any other person as may be prescribed. All right. Then very important for exam, not very important for exam, the definition of manager and managing director. It's not very important, but we are going to discuss, we should have knowledge. It will help us in CA final. Yes, who is a manager? How is he different from a managing director? All that will help us later on. Now, let us understand the meaning as well as the difference between these two terms with the use of color coding. Okay, now pay attention to how I am discussing this definition. It is important that you know the flow, because you will understand everything in this note itself. Now, who is a manager? See, manager is an individual. He need not be director. But we want an individual. Can't be a body corporate. Okay? Only an individual, living person. Only a living person can be a manager. Why? How will an artificial person govern the company? How will an artificial person take decisions for the company? So we need a living person. Okay? Alright. So manager means any individual, living person. Managing director means a director. In order to be a managing director, you need to be a director first. But in order to be a manager, do you need to be a director? Any individual can become a manager. Maybe a director, may not be a director. Okay. So only an individual can be a manager. Only a director can be a managing director. Alright. Now, second point of difference. He is subject to the superintendent's control, direction of the board of directors. So can I say board of directors are supreme? Below that, we have the manager. So manager is always under the control of, under the superintendence of, means we are monitoring him, controlling him, or he is operating as per the instructions or the directions of the board. Let's see what a managing director is. He is a managing director by virtue of, means because of, articles of the company. So his name is mentioned in the articles that he will be the managing director of the company. Or there is some agreement with the company, or a resolution is passed either in the general meeting or the board meeting. So it is important that I make notes here. A resolution is passed where either general meeting or board meeting, resolving to appoint X and Y as the managing, any XY person as the managing director. So in case of manager, we discussed he is subject to the superintendent's control, direction of the board. Whereas how do you become a managing director? By virtue of the articles, or there may be some agreement with the company that this person is the managing director, or a resolution is passed either in the general meeting or board meeting. Have you understood up till here? Yes. Now, what does a manager do? That should be our main discussion point. We know he should be an individual. We know that he operates below the directors. But what does he do? He has the management of whole or substantially whole of the affairs of the company. We will put it in a box, either whole or substantially the whole of affairs of the company. Whereas a managing director has substantial powers, not whole powers, but substantial powers of managing. See, what does a manager do? He manages and ensures that everything is operating smoothly. We may give him the management of the whole of the affairs of the company. You manage the entire company. Or we may give him substantial power. Substantial means considerable power to manage. Whereas a managing director gets substantial powers, considerable but not whole. Ma'am, I have a doubt here. If I have appointed a manager and given him whole of the powers, can I also appoint a managing director and give him substantial power? It is impossible. You cannot have manager and managing director at the same time. How can you give substantial powers to both? How can you give whole powers to both? You can either have a manager or a managing director. Ma'am, can I have two managers? How is that possible? You're giving either whole or substantial power to two people. That's not possible. So you will have a manager. Another doubt. Ma'am, my uncle is a product manager. My cousin is a sales manager. My neighbor is an IT manager. Ma'am, are they also included over here? No. We are not talking at the departmental level. We are not talking at the branch. He's a branch manager. We are not talking about all that. We are talking about a person who has either whole or substantial, that is important power to manage the entire company. We are talking about a very high level of person. Okay, someone who is at a very higher post. We are not talking about people who are at a lower level. I'm not saying that they are working at a lower level. I'm just talking about the hierarchy. Okay, so actually because of so many positions, he's a managing director, he's a manager. Sometimes we lose what is the meaning of manager as per the Companies Act. So here we are talking about a person who operates at a very high level of management. Okay, so up till now what have I discussed? Manager is a person who is an individual, whereas managing director has to be a director first. Second point we discussed that a manager will have, I'll highlight as I read. He will be operating under the superintendent's control and direction of the board of directors, but a managing director, he will be appointed either through the articles of the company or by any agreement or by resolution passed in the general meeting or board meeting. Powers, manager may have either whole or substantially whole power. Managing director has substantial power. Now, what is the meaning of substantial power? That is also explained in the Act. That is also explained over here. We will be discussing it subsequently. Now, next point that we need to know. Manager includes a director. It includes director or any other person occupying the position of the manager by whatever name you call him. You may not call him a manager, but he has the entire control of the company. He is considered just like a manager only as per the Act. Can I say that to be a manager, you may be a director, you may not be a director. Any person can be a manager. But to be a managing director, it includes, okay, again, it includes a director occupying the position of a managing director by whatever name called. So it means that to become a managing director, I have to be a director first, yes or no? Okay. So let's go through the points again. Manager can be an individual, whereas a managing director has to be a director. Manager is under the superintendent's control or under the direction. He operates under the direction of the board. Whereas in this case, a managing director, he may be appointed as per the articles or by any agreement or through a resolution passed either at the board meeting or a general meeting. Manager has substantial or whole of the powers. Managing director has only substantial powers. Manager may or may not be the director. See, I am a director and I'm also a manager. No harm in that. But for a managing director, you have to be a director first and only then you can be appointed as a managing director. What is the meaning of substantial power? See, because the word is used, it is inevitable that we explain it. Otherwise, anybody will say this is substantial power. What is substantial power? For the purpose of this clause, the power to do administrative acts or acts of routine nature, when authorized by the board, will not be deemed, okay, not word is important. It is not deemed to be substantial powers of management. So any administrative or routine task, who has asked you to do that? Board has asked me to perform that part. It is routine. It's just basic administration. It is for smooth functioning of the company. That is not substantial. Substantial will include anything other than these. Okay, these are just examples. They can't define what is substantial. It all depends on facts, but very important decisions, something which is at the top level of management, that is substantial. Now, this will not include power to affix the common seal of the company, power to draw, endorse, check on account of the company, or draw and endorse any other negotiable instrument, sign the share certificate, or to direct registration of transfer of any shares. That's not substantial. It is very routine. But you know what? I felt that I was given the authority to sign and endorse the check. I thought I'm a very influential person. It is an important power. No, I can sign checks. But company needs to sign thousands of checks. That's a routine task for the company. You have been delegated, you have been appointed by the board, authorized by the board to do that because somebody has to do it. Okay, so it's a routine work. We have to make payments. We need to endorse instruments. That's not substantial. We don't do it like once in a while. It's not substantial. It's a routine task. All this is not substantial. Okay. So students, this was the meaning of manager and managing director. All right. Next, let us discuss the definition of a member as given under clause 55. Simply put, member is a person whose name appears in the register of members. So if my name is in the register, I'm a member. If my name is not in the register, I'm just a shareholder. I will become a member when my name is entered in the register. Okay. I have a small note for that. So who is a member? Now, member is a person whose name appears in the register. So if my name is there, I'm a member. You are considered as a member if you are a subscriber to the memorandum. Now, who is a subscriber? Subscriber is a person who signs the memorandum and agrees to purchase the number of shares mentioned against his name. Like I started the company with my friend and we both signed the memorandum and we agreed to put 1 lakh rupees each. We got 10,000 shares each from the company, face value 10. So, see, if you are incorporating a company, you need some money at least in the company. Although there is no prescribed paid up capital, minimum capital, but you need to put in some money. Otherwise, how will a business run? How will you pay for the professionals who are helping you in incorporation? So you need to bring in some money at least. Who brings that money? The subscribers. Who are subscribers? People who sign the memorandum. They are the persons who incorporate the company. They are the first shareholders of the company. So a subscriber is automatically deemed to be a member just because he is a subscriber. It is not necessary that his name appears in the register. It is not necessary that he has given application, we have made allotments. Allotment is also not necessary to hold him liable as a contributory in the event of winding up. Now let's say what happens. Company is incorporated. Company incurred a few liabilities, let's say to 3 lakh rupees. Or let's say 2 lakh rupees. Okay, 2 lakh rupees. Now then after incorporation, the company purchased goods worth 2 lakh. Then the company went into liquidation. So who will pay that 2 lakh? Contributories. Even though their name is not mentioned in the register, even though we have not yet allotted shares to them. See students, what happens is, when I incorporate a company and I sign the memorandum, I am merely agreeing to purchase the shares of the company. I have not paid any money. It's just an agreement that I am signing the memorandum. I will pay the money that is mentioned against my name. I have 180 days from incorporation to bring that money in the business. So as of now, I have not brought anything in the business. As of now, there is no money in the business, but I have only agreed. You have agreed, you are a member. You will have to bring in that money. You will have to contribute that money. If the company goes into liquidation, you will have to use that money to pay the creditors. So allotment is also not required to make him liable. He is liable even if the name is not mentioned. He cannot later on refuse to purchase. Once you have signed the memorandum, you will have to purchase. You cannot cancel the contract after incorporation. So a subscriber is automatically considered as member of the company. He is the first shareholder, he is the first member of the company. Later, anybody who makes an application in writing is the requirement of law. Oral application will not allow you to become member of the company. So oral application is not valid. Mere entry is not sufficient in the register. You have to apply in writing. Okay. And any person whose name appears as a beneficiary in the records of the depository is also considered as member. Do you really think companies like Reliance and Tata, whose shares are traded in huge volume, have the time to update their register every day? No. The shares are in demat form. There is numerous trading happening in the market of those shares. If your name appears in the records of the depository, you are a member. So what the company does, the company also adopts the records maintained by the depository. If your name is in the records of the depository as the owner of shares, you are our member. So if your name appears as the beneficial owner in the records of the depository, you are considered as the owner, as the member. So I can become a member by subscribing to the memorandum, by an agreement in writing, by applying in writing, or I may become if my name appears in the records of depository. So let's read this from the textbook. In relation to a company, very nicely said. We can be a member of a cooperative society. We can be a member of a housing society. I am talking about member of the company. How will you become member of the company? You may subscribe to the memorandum. Any person who has deemed what is important to agreed. It's just an agreement. I have not contributed anything. I have 180 days from incorporation to bring that money. I have agreed. On registration, I will be entered as a member in the register. I am going to be a member. Allotments will be made within 2 months of incorporation. So then I am a member. I am considered as a member. Every other person who agrees in writing, so writing is the requirement of law. I have to make it in writing to become a member, and my name is entered in the register of members. If my name is not entered in the register, I'm just a shareholder. There's a difference between member and shareholder. Most of the times, member and shareholder means the same, most of the times. But what if Mr. X, he is a member, and he transferred shares to Mr. Y? But transfer procedure takes time. No, let's say he's a member of a private company and he holds shares in the physical form. It is still possible for private company. He transferred shares to Mr. Y. Now transfer procedure takes time. So as of now, X is mentioned in the register of members. He is the member, but is he a shareholder? No, shares are with Y. So Y is considered as a shareholder. So sometimes under certain circumstances, you may be a member but not a shareholder. You may be a shareholder but not a member. So here X is a member but he is no longer a shareholder. Y is a shareholder but he is not yet a member because his name is not appearing in the register. Every person holding share and whose name is entered as the beneficial owner in the records of the depository will be considered as a member. So I am a subscriber, or I agree in writing, or my name is entered as a beneficial owner in the records of the depository. I am a member. Not very important for exam, but you need to know the meaning. Okay. So this was the definition of member.